Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Columbia. How are you? I'm fine. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay. So this is my last minute message to the United States. In fact, I'm going to put this off to the side because I don't care who's watching this. Um, this is my last minute message to the United States before Election Day. It's Monday, the 7th. So, gotta make sure I put that. They gotta make sure I ride the bandwagon of there being a last minute message. I tweeted this. Brain, will you please stop trying to fuck me up? My brain is like, listen, bitch, you need to drop dime on some niggas. And it's like, no, that's not why we're here. We will drop dime on niggas later. Anyway, brain, stop it. I tweeted this and I needed to have pulled the tweet up, but I didn't. I'm not paying any attention to the live chat. So if you get into the live chat, sorry. Oh my God, shut up, girl. What are you doing? Because it's like I have my headphones plugged into my microphone. And so it's like, oh, Jesus. Why are you even doing this, Sam? You might as well just go home. Oh, hell no. What the hell is that? Well, hey, what's the buzzing? Is it the proximity? I think it's the proximity of a radio signal, guys. Because I just bought this mother. Honey, you better not be going crispy on. This is very quickly going to turn into my microphone better not be going crispy on me, because let me tell you something, honey, you were expensive. Okay. You don't need to be going crispy on me. If you start going crispy on me, mama's going to be calling your company up and bitching you out. So I'm hoping that's just in my headphones. Please just be in my headphones. Let me go and grab this goddamn tweet of mine. Like I don't remember it. Just barely. Soon it will be over, and no matter what happens, the United States will continue. Earth will continue. I know, my fears about Donald Trump being president are not being assuaged by Hillary Clinton in the poll. How was she doing in the polls or whatever. My fears about Donald Trump are that if he gets into office, just him becoming the president will validate racism and xenophobia in a way that will cause more people to be attacked, that will cause more incitement of violence, that will cause more people to come out of the shadows and be dickheads to people of color, to immigrants, to people who are in the LGBT community. Oh, forgot the Q girl, Q. I just feel like if you're different in the United States and, you're not a heterosexual white male in the United States, then, oh, forgot cis. Sorry. My SJW powers are not on point today, but I feel like if you're not like cisgendered white male, straight in the United States, you're going to get your ass whooped. I happen to live in a place that's relatively insular. In that, it's got a bunch of colleges and a lot of educated people around, and, a lot of people of high, I would say of, more than average intelligence. But there are a lot of dumb people too. But I feel like, where I live in the Bay Area is definitely like the counties vote blue, right? I've not seen a county vote red, or at least when, the majority of the county be red, since I've been voting since I was like 18, which was Barack Obama's first election. And I know it's not a super big fear here, but, literally like in the same county I work and live in, a Sikh man was like attacked for being a Sikh dude by two white guys from Texas and Louisiana. They were contractors for the oil refinery here. And they just took him out of his car and started screaming, go back to wherever you're from, and all that type of bullshit. And it's just like, more things like that are going to happen if Trump is elected, because these people are going to feel validated. I feel like no matter what happens, like people are like, these people are going to be attacking people in the fucking streets because they're either going to be disappointed. And so their reaction is going to be, democracy doesn't work. You see what happens when you try to use democracy? It shit doesn't work. It's all rigged against you. And then that's going to cause more frustration as time goes on. people are going to go on, the right wing is probably going to start up with this, democracy doesn't work, right? Because their candidate didn't get elected. So I get this feeling like regardless of what happens, this is going to be a rough time, right? Because we are battling between xenophobia and inclusiveness. That's a word. And it's just frightening. I tweeted, another thing I tweeted out was, I thought we were living in fucking, I was born in 1990. I didn't think I had been born in 1890. But by some of the rhetoric people use, by some of the way that people are acting, you would think that we were born in, that this is somehow 1890, except with YouTube. It's hard to put into words sometimes how I feel about it, because it dregs up so many emotions for me. Fear, it drags up, fear and fucking anger. And I can't say hatred, because I really am not, I can hate something, but it's hard for me to hate people, because people have circumstances, they have perspectives, they have experiences, and they all lend to creating a viewpoint, right? And to hate them for that, I don't know that I can. But I know that, I just watched that, that fucking documentary from Fusion about hate. And it was really like upsetting. First of all, KKK, neo-Nazis, you guys need better PR people. Okay. You need to find you a clean cut, nice shaven white man. Okay. Who can speak English, not Anglish, but Anglish. All right. And put his ass out there as your spokesperson, because getting Bubba from up the street, okay, who ain't never done an interview in his life, that's not good PR for you. If you're trying to advance your movement, you got to do better than that, boo-boo. All right. If you can't find nobody better than Bubba, then that tells me a hell of a lot about how well you're doing. But I watched it and I felt so bad. You know what I'm saying? For the kids who are like crying because their parents are warning them that, hey, if this guy wins the presidency, I may have to leave you here in the United States. Could you imagine if your parents had to leave you because of who was elected president? Like Donald Trump, you making kids cry, nigga. Like, that's evil, nigga. You making kids. I don't listen. I don't even think Hitler made kids cry. Maybe Jewish kids. All right. But nigga, you making kids cry. Like, you're just a terrible person. And then, like, okay, so the latter part of the documentary, so that was like in the middle, and the latter part was, these people who are on the street corner, with their Nazi fucking emblems and shit, going white power. And you know how I feel about American Nazis. Like, nigga, don't appropriate Nazism. They got defeated. You know what I'm saying? First of all, they got defeated. Secondly, that I would sort of, Nazism, in terms of how Hitler described it, was really a thing for like Austrians and like Germans, right? He did not acknowledge the American Bund movement. And they were first generation for the most part, first generation German immigrants. And he did not acknowledge it. Mike, I swear to God, if you're going out on me, I swear on my ever fucking life, I will call Blue Yeti up right fucking now. I'm sure, yeah, Jason, I'm sure Hitler did make plenty of children cry. I mean, but after he came to power, not before. Oh my God. Like, seeing these people with the fucking Nazi flags, even though I would like to tell all Nazis, Hitler didn't want you. Okay. Hitler don't want you now. He didn't want you then. All right. So drop that shit. Be a Klansman. That we invented that. And then I found out that there were Klansmen in the United Kingdom. And I'm like, stop appropriating our shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me have the Ku Klux Klan. You niggas can be Nazis because you were closer to the Nazis. So you niggas can be Nazis. Let me be Klansmen. Don't be exporting our brand of racism to these old other niggas in the United Kingdom. Don't they have enough over there? God damn. Of course, we stealing their TV shows. So I guess, to each his own, right? Anyway. My point being that when I saw these white people on a corner with their white power signs and their fucking swastika tattoos and shit, screaming, white power, I felt bad for them. Like, not even in a patronizing way. Like, I feel bad for them because they don't understand their own history. Aw, thank you, sweetheart. they don't understand their own history. But I got to go on with this. They don't understand their own history for the most part, right? Because if they did, they'd understand that they already have white power. But I feel bad for them because these are people who are still, despite the fact that they are white, and we are taught the pablum that if you're white, that means that you run the planet. Despite the fact that they're white, they still feel disenfranchised. They still feel like they don't have any power, and for the most part, they probably don't. Right? These are still people who are rural and poor and who aren't as benefiting as much from the society as other people are. And they're still white. You know, they're still supposed to have white privilege, but it doesn't seem like they're getting any. And I feel like that makes me feel bad for them because they've latched on to this pablum that was really invented to justify importing all these Africans over here. You know, you could have just enslaved a bunch of white people. I mean, again, that's not prior to about the 17th century. A lot of the slaves were Russians. There were a lot of Russian slaves. There were a lot of slaves from what was it? Oh God damn it. There were a lot of Slavic slaves. There were a lot of Italian or Mediterranean or Italian slaves. I feel so bad for these people who don't quite understand that we're in the same boat. You know, black people, poor white people in the same socioeconomic boat. And the thing that divides us is racism. And they believe in this pablum that's only hurting them, right? That Nazism shit, that fucking white supremacist shit is at this point hurting you, right? Not to go into how counterintuitive like modern white supremacy is, because effectively what white supremacy says about white people is white people are so weak that if they don't control every aspect of society, they will crumble, right? It's racist to them, right? I'm sure that white people don't have to control, you know, every seat in government and every fucking cabinet position and every fucking judicial position in order to be, you know, a strong, productive people, right? I am sure that that is the case. I know plenty of white people and they are not like that, right? But white supremacy says that, if we don't control everything, we will be destroyed. That's really weird. But it's a pablum, regardless, it's a pablum that hurts white people. And they don't see that because it's obvious that they're already being hurt by white people. But they're trying to scapegoat it onto us, onto us African Americans, onto Native Americans, onto Asian Americans, onto Mexican Americans, Central American Americans, South Americans. They're trying to scapegoat all of their problems onto us instead of addressing the fact that it's the power structures built by white people that are still holding you back, that are holding you down. And particularly the thing that is holding them down is racism. It's not just racism against maybe like the subtle racism that's kind of against white, that it's against the poorest of the poor white people, but it's the idea that because they view black people as a scapegoat, because they view us as the cause of their problems, they don't ever want to team up with us to solve some of these problems. Because let me tell you something, if these poor white people who are screaming white power ever teamed up with some black people to get an economic issue dealt with, they would get it. Okay, that policy would be passed. Okay, and I feel bad for these white people because let me tell you something. I watched all 3 presidential debates. I watched a hell of a lot of the primary debates, and not one of those motherfuckers mentioned poor people. They talked about the middle, the middle. They talked about the rich, but nobody said we're going to build the social ladder so that the poor can get to the middle. Okay, I would feel like shit if I was a white person and, you know, with all the problems about, you know, white privilege, with all the shit about white privilege, with all, you know, and that's not shit necessarily, but with all of the problems that go around, with all the things that you could possibly believe, I would feel like shit if, even though the 2 people who are standing there are also white, they still won't talk about my issues or what I'm going through. I would feel like crap. Nobody wanted to talk about white radicalization. Nobody wants to talk about like issues in poor white communities, right? And then they wonder why they picked Trump. And even he's not talking about the issues in poor white communities. right? When they hear "Make America Great Again," of course they hear the racist pablum of like, "Get the fuck." You guys know that pablum's like my favorite word. Of course they hear the racist pablum of "Get all these Mexicans, get all these Central Americans, get all these South Americans out of the country." But they also hear, "I can climb the social ladder." They also hear, "I can be middle class." They also hear things that we're not hearing, right? Because we're on the other side of it. And I still say, and I will always say, that we have got to understand what motivated, however much of the population is about to vote for Donald Trump. We have to understand what motivated them. We cannot afford to be insular. We cannot afford to be entrenched, because whatever has motivated them to pick this person could subsume us all. And be it fascist tendencies, be it authoritarianism, be it poverty, whatever, it could infect us all. And it will affect us all if Donald Trump is elected. So we have to be, we, and when I say we, I mean the left, right? All of the left, from the fringy niggas to, center left to, I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll left. We all have to be mindful of what is happening here. And we can't afford to be entrenched. My favorite line, that is me quoting myself, and you should never quote yourself because you sound stupid as shit. I don't think you should ever use quotations like, "What's your favorite Facebook asks, well, what's your favorite quotation?" It's like, it's either quote myself, which always makes you sound like an asshole, or quote someone else, which to me makes you sound like an asshole because you couldn't think of some better words. But the eagle cannot fly if it's trying to peck off its left wing or its right wing. We work together. This is how it works. We are part of the same body politic. And we can not, none of us, in a democracy, none of us can afford to look at each other as political enemies, right? Or as enemies, period. Because there are going to be times when our economic, our political, our social interests align. And if we want policies to come out of that, we have to work together to build them. And I can't tell you whether it was us who became more entrenched, the population, that became more entrenched, and then Congress sort of picked up on that and started using our rhetoric, or they became more entrenched and we picked up on that and started using their rhetoric. But no matter what goes on, no matter what is happening, we as the population, we as the plebs, always have to be mindful of the type of rhetoric we use, of the type of things we say in public, because our politicians pay attention to us. And if they see us going wild, then that determines what the line is for them. If they see that they can, the conservatives are using, radical rhetoric, then they know that, okay, I can ramp up my rhetoric a little bit. If liberals or people on the left see lefties using, hyperbolic rhetoric, they think, okay, I can take my rhetoric a little further. And the next thing you know, we're in a situation where we have such a big chasm between us that it can't be gulfed. We're living in a moment that is full of tension. And I'm not saying that this is unlike any other historical moment. There are plenty of other parallel moments in history. But we are living in a point where there are a lot of different groups that are angry and frustrated and are fighting for more autonomy, more sovereignty, and all of those things, all of those issues, if they collide, could end badly. I think the United States designed itself after the Civil War to sort of keep itself from falling into another civil war. But, just looking at, okay, you've got Native Americans banding together, particularly over DAPL, right? You've got, African Americans who are upset about the police brutality. You've got white men who are upset, white women who are upset about, immigration and illegal immigration. You've got immigrants who are upset about the rhetoric and the way that they're, being scapegoated. You got Muslims who are upset about being beat up, in the fucking streets. You've got all types of different people who are roused, and it could easily come to blows. Easily. And I don't want that for the United States. I never want that for the United States. I want us to get along. Even if we don't like each other, I want us to be able to give each other the side eye and keep it pushing. We're better than fighting each other or hitting each other or harming each other or being Nazis in order to express our political views. We're better than that. And maybe, you know, am I idealistic? Of course I am. But there's so much tension and you can feel it. You know, you can. I was at McDonald's the other day, and this, you know, a guy who just looked like a Trump supporter. That's right. I'm stereotyping you Trump supporters. I'm preparing for Trump's presidency. I'm stereotyping everybody. He just seemed mad. You know what I'm saying? And he ordered his food really gruffly. Give me 2 McDoubles, no pickles. I was like, God damn, nigga, these niggas work at McDonald's. All right, be cool off that shit. But no matter what happens in this world, the United States will continue. If Donald Trump wins, will it be different? Yes. If Hillary Clinton wins, will it be different? Yes. But the United States will continue. The planet Earth will continue, no matter what. We are responsible for our polity. And we have to do what is necessary to ensure the safety of our polity, not just inside of it. We can't just think about domestic policy. We have to think about foreign policy. We have to think about interacting with other groups of people. And Donald Trump is offensive. Donald Trump is a loudmouth. And Donald Trump would be unable to represent our interests on an international stage. That's why I'm probably most against him. All that, you know, the racism, the xenophobia, of course, the lying, you know, all the things he's done. But he is completely unfit to represent the United States on the global stage. And I think that's important, particularly at a time when Russia is reasserting itself, when they are in their little, I forget what the name of their little country is called, but they got a little country between like Lithuania and like Poland, this tiny little piece of that they have access to the Black Sea. And they have been moving missiles that are capable of nuclear, that are capable of holding nuclear warheads. They've been moving missiles into that area, which is freaking out all the little former Soviet Union countries like Lithuania, Latvia, even Estonia. Estonia got the worst. I mean, Estonia got invaded by the Nazis and the Russians twice, right? And the Soviets twice. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Poor Estonia. You niggas go. Them Estonian niggas are my niggas. So, okay, that's not anything. Sorry. So, my point being that whatever our decision is, the United States will go on. I will go on. Will the country be different? Yes. Will I be different? Maybe. But I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of anyone or anything. If I see any Trump supporters at the polling place trying to illegally monitor, I'm calling the cops. All right. If I don't beat your ass before the shit happened. All right. But I'm calling the cops on you. If you see Trump supporters illegally watching the polls, call the fucking cops on them. Don't hurt them. Don't touch them. Don't think about them. If you're already in the process of voting, go on and vote. And then when you're done, go outside and call the police. If you're a poll worker and you see this happening, go outside and call the police, because it's illegal to be watching the polls. I don't give a fuck what goes on. It is illegal. Okay. We made it illegal for a reason. And the fact that they would do this voter intimidation shit is another clear sign of their ignorance. They don't understand their own history. They don't understand the history of the relationship between African Americans, white people, and voting. They don't understand the relationship between themselves and fucking Native Americans. They don't understand these relationships, and they don't care. And I would think that if you cared about the United States as much as you fucking claim to, that you would know something about her. That's all I got to say about the matter. You know what to do. Tomorrow is election day. In the state of California, you have between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. to cast your vote. I suggest you do. If you're anywhere else in the country, I can't tell you what your fucking voting schedule is like, but if you type in where is my poll into Google, it will totally tell you. I checked it out. It's accurate. So go on, check that out. Do what you have to do. But know that regardless, if there are issues that you feel are pertinent, if you're poor and you're white and you're on the cusp of fucking white supremacy because you feel like nobody gives a fuck about me, you can always come talk to me. You can always fucking email your congressperson, email them, fucking call them, tell them, listen, I'm about to join up with these Nazis if you don't listen. All right. I'll come fuck with you. You can always come talk to me at Miss Megalodon, at Lady Columbia on Facebook. I don't give a fuck. All right. If you on the cusp of white supremacy and you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. Because this is some bullshit. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. It's been so good to kind of get this out. Jason, mwah, I heart you too, sweetheart. We'll talk later. All right. Bye, guys.